Hey everyone, this is Chris, but my friends call me Stones. Thanks for checking out my channel. Thanks for rolling with me. Thanks for taking some time out of your day to watch these videos and see what I'm up to. That's what I call this channel, Rolling with Stones, because you're rolling with me, you're hanging out with me, and I'm sharing with you a part of my life, and hopefully you find it to be interesting, entertaining, educational, I don't know. So I wanted to show you once again my haul from the Goodwill outlet. I've talked about the Goodwill outlet before. I've shared things that I've found at the Goodwill outlet. To me, it's the best overall bang for my buck for my time and the effort that I put in to source things to resell for a profit. So here in Northeast Ohio, in the wintertime, we have no yard sales or garage sales. We have the occasional estate sales. So most of my sourcing during the winter is at thrift stores, Goodwill, Salvation Armies, other independent thrift stores. But in that rotation throughout the week, I spent most of it at the Goodwill outlet. The Goodwill outlet, everything is sold in by the pound. Mine specifically, it's $1.29 a pound. Just raised the price from $1.19 a pound, but that is extremely reasonable compared to other Goodwill outlets where I've heard prices upwards of $1.80, $1.90, even up to $2.50 a pound. So $1.30 a pound is very reasonable. And again, this merchandise supposedly is stuff that was donated to a normal Goodwill store. It was sat on their shelves, didn't sell, and then management decided to get rid of it. They packed it up, shipped it out to the Goodwill outlet to be sold by the pound. And I don't know what the process is. After it doesn't sell after a certain amount of times, I think they finally just get rid of it. They throw it away. So this was actually from 3 rotations per se. I only went twice. So basically what I normally do is Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I go at least one time on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, so 3 times a week. But sometimes and oftentimes I'll go frequent times on those same days. And then sometimes I'll go on a Tuesday, sometimes I'll go on a Thursday. It just really depends on my schedule. This time what I ended up doing is I went at 8 o'clock when they opened, which I rarely do, but I do sometimes. Normally I don't show up until 10. Um, and then I left, came home, and then went back for the 10 o'clock rotation. Then I stuck around, didn't leave, and I stuck around for the 11 o'clock rotation. Just recently that came to mind that was the better way of doing it instead of coming all the way home and then driving all the way back. Because at first I thought I was wasting time by sitting around and waiting for the next rotation. But then I realized I was actually spending more time driving home and then driving back. So I might as well spend that time sitting there waiting and not wasting gas, especially with the price of gas these days. So this is from technically three visits or 3 rotations of the bins. I spent a total of about $25, again at $1.29 per pound, recently raised from $1.19 a pound. So this is what I got in the morning. This is a Honeywell thermostat. Honeywell is a great brand to look out for. Most of their stuff is pretty high priced and sells for some really good money. I've made good money on Honeywell smoke alarms, detectors, thermostats, all sorts of things. Look out for Honeywell. It has good value. Now this one doesn't have so much. It is open box. It is brand new, but it's only worth about 10 bucks. But that's going to pay for one of my trips, one of my purchases of everything at the Goodwill outlet. So why not? So this was actually my score for that morning. I pulled these out of a bin that had been there from the night before, from one of the prior rotations from the day before. And these are Playmobil horses. And these are the original ones from 1974. So there's a date on the underside, and I don't know if I can show it or not. But I originally pulled out 17 that morning, and including, where's he at? It's not a horse, it's like a cow type thing. And so I pulled out 17. Here he is, he's right in front of me. I pulled out 17 of these. One of them was broken, the leg was broken. But when I went back at 10, I found one more. I had a feeling there was another one in there. So I have 17 total. I'm thinking I can get for the 17 plus the cattle I'm looking at upwards $35 to $40 because I've seen collections of like 10 sell for 30, $25. I'm going to try to get at least $35, $40 for those 17 and the one cattle that I found. Found a bunch of Paw Patrol. I've talked about this before. There's several licenses, several products, several type of items. Every time I see them, and it seems like I see them quite often, I pick them up every time and I sell them in big lots. Some items require me to have a bunch of them before they'll sell. Some of them I only need a few. And I'll show you some of those examples as well. But Paw Patrol, right now I have a collection up of, I think, 40 of them for about $30 or so. What I might either do is add these. That's my process. As I find more, I update the listing with new photos, new quantities. Sometimes I update the price, depending. Now, the quantity that I have listed right now on eBay, I have a lot of doubles. So what I might do is go into that listing, remove the photos, and create a listing of just all unique ones, no doubles at all, and see if that sells any better. I'll probably increase the price, but that's how I do it. I find a bunch of things over time, and then I'll eventually create a listing once I have enough of them, and I'll add to that listing. I won't discount the price. If it hasn't sold yet, I won't discount the price, but what I'll do is I'll continue to add to it. Add more, until it gets to that sweet spot where the price and the quantity makes sense for someone and they buy it. So I do that with Paw Patrol. I've talked about this before. I also do that with Polly Pocket. And these are the Disney Princess. This is this what they call the quick clip version, where the dress just pulls right off. It's on a hinge. There you go. Fell right out. And I've already sold all the ones that I've talked about in the past. So I'm now building my collection up again. And I only have maybe 5 right now of different types. And as I find more, I'll add to it. I have a bin that I keep everything in. I keep everything separated in bags. And once I find a bunch of them, I'll sell them. This is another Disney Princess product I find quite often. I can't remember the name of these specifically, but they basically have these swivel legs. That's how you can tell. It's kind of like a solid body with a big dress and the swivel legs that pop out of them. And I've sold sets of these for like 8 of them for like $40. And I think I have enough now to create another listing. I do the same thing with PJ Masks. I don't get the normal PJ Mask heroes anymore. They seem like there's no interest in those, but some of these side characters, the off characters, the villains or bad guys per se, there's still interest in those. I'm trying for the first time to do Ryan's World. Seems like I come across a lot of Ryan's World, and I'm trying to get a bunch of them to see if they'll sell in big lots, because I always see them in the Goodwill outlet bins. So there's that. I do the same thing with Pez. Any loose Pez, new Pez, once I get about 100 of them, and I see them all the time, I can sell them for about $50. So about 50 cents a piece. Dora the Explorer, I'm trying something with her. Alien figure, I might keep this for myself. I think that's kind of cool. This Lion King playset. Look out for Lion King playsets. They tend to have more value than most other playsets. There's one, it's the Scar playset. I found it at a Goodwill once with no figures, and I paid like $4 for it. Sold it for nearly $100. This one, not quite as valuable, but the thing is, another thing that I grab all the time are Lion King figures. It seems like I always find Lion King figures, and I've sold collections of Lion King figures in the past. So I have a bunch of them that are already listed on eBay, but I'm going to probably delist those, and then I'm going to put the figures with this playset and try to get more money. Now, here's an item that actually was on the shelves of a Goodwill store. So there's the price tag. If most of the stuff was actually at a Goodwill price or a Goodwill store, we should be seeing price tags on all the stuff. The thermostat should have had some. Now, the horses might have been in a bag at one time. The Paw Patrol might have been in a bag one time. But you very rarely see these price tags on the items. And they're hard to get off. So if these items were truly in a Goodwill store, that you should be seeing these price tags all the time, and I rarely see them. Um, this is an interesting piece. This is from a 1973 toy of Evel Knievel. If you don't know who Evel Knievel was, he was really popular back in the 70s and the 60s for doing stunts on a motorcycle. He'd jump cars, he'd jump caverns, he'd jump people, he'd jump buildings, he'd do all sorts of crazy things. Wrecked quite often, got injured quite often, almost died quite often. But this is from the original toy set from 1973. This is where you place his motorcycle on there, you crank the side, and it makes Evel Knievel shoot off and fly across the room. This piece alone is worth a minimum of $20. The blue one is a little bit more rare. There's also a white one and a yellow one and a red one. So maybe more like $25, $30, but a good pickup. Rubber ducks, I've talked about these before. If you've watched Mountain Man Treasure on YouTube, he uses these for charity, raising money for veterans, injured soldiers, that type of thing. And I've been sending him a bunch of them. I've been finding quite a bit in the bins. I actually had a massive box filled with them that I'm waiting to mail out to him. He's probably overwhelmed by the ones that I've been sending him, but this is the coolest one yet so far. I actually posted this on my Instagram account because I thought he was so cool. Here's another superhero one, but it's more generic. It's like Super Duck or something like that. Another thing I found was this brand new Scotch gift wrap cutter. Now, I guess they discontinued making these, so this little tool sells for about $25 on eBay. Keep in mind, I paid $25 for everything, so that one little tool is going to pay for everything. Something else I'm going to try. I always like new things, exploring new things, but these are vintage sun catchers. Another word for them is stained glass sun catchers. These, it seemed like someone had a certain theme that they liked, and that is towers, or what do they call these? Light towers. And there's a big bag of them, a bunch of them. And I looked some comps on sun catchers, and vintage sun catchers actually have a following. There's people collect them. So I'm looking at getting $10 to $15 a piece on these, or I might sell the whole collection. I don't know. Some of them are location specific. So I don't know if somebody would want the location specific ones. I don't know. I pick up personal things every once in a while. There was these really cool cards, greeting cards, birthday cards, thank you cards. I just grabbed those for personal use. Then I picked up this Leinenkugel's beer caddy. It's actually a canoe. And it's pretty unique. I looked it up on eBay, and there's only one person selling one, and they've got it listed for like $25, $30 plus shipping. There's a bunch of other Leinenkugel's collectibles, I guess, promotional items, but there's only one of these listed. And if you know people, there are some people that are big fans of what they call Brewania or beer collectibles. And so I'm probably going to list that up there for at least $20 plus shipping, something like that. And then I filled it up with McDonald's Happy Meal toys. And I've talked about this before. I typically will pick these up whenever I find them. Normally I only find like one or two a trip, but for some reason there was just an excessive amount of these on what day was this? Friday? An excessive amount of these that I found on Friday. I think I found nearly 30. So I've got a big bin of these in my basement. As I find them, I throw them in the bin, and when I get 200 of them, that's kind of the magic number, I can sell them for about $150 plus shipping, or basically $175 free shipping. And I make about $100 on all that, with all the fees and the cost of goods and stuff like that. It's stuff that people pass over, but I grab them up, and I can make some money on them. So there you go, $25 purchase. Again, one item is going to cover all that. The horses definitely are going to cover that. This, Evel Knievel piece can cover that. So I've got a lot of just single items that will pay for everything here. So there you go. There's my pickup from the Goodwill outlet at $1.29 a pound.